Welcome to the Imaginal Life podcast. I'm Frances LaCuesta, and I help women thrive and live a life they love. Together, we'll explore how to tap into our potential, unlock possibilities, and find beauty in this messy and imperfect journey we call life. Hello, dear Imaginals. Welcome to another episode. So, last time I spoke about resentments or holding a grudge or grievance against someone you think you have unfinished business with. And this is part 2 of that. If you haven't listened to part 1, go ahead and check out that episode. It's only 5 minutes long. All right, so today I'll share some ways on how to release resentments so you can finally free yourself and allow more peace and joy into your life. Okay, so let me start by sharing my own story about this. So several years ago, I was devastated when a former lover and I broke up. It wasn't because we didn't care about each other, but the circumstances surrounding us during that time didn't make it possible for us to be together. And after that, I went through a depressive state where I shut down from my family and friends, and I cried almost every night and thought of him endlessly. So there are several times that I've reached out to him, but never heard back, even when he said we'll still be communicating. In short, I was ghosted. And for years, I was so angry and mad at him for doing that. And so I allowed my anger to get the better of me. And it affected my relationship with myself and others, specifically my family and my friends. My most significant breakthrough came when I went through grueling inner work. In the process of healing myself, I realized where the resentment was coming from. Before our relationship ended, he promised me he would come back for me and that we would be together. So, when he stopped communicating with me, I felt betrayed and abandoned because he broke his promise to me. And I resented him for that. So I held on to an agreement we made during that time. And when he broke his promise, I became bitter and angry. I blamed him for not keeping his word. And it was a painful realization and a hard pill to swallow. Yet, when that dawned on me, I felt a deep sense of peace, which liberated me from the painful past. So I understand that some of these resentments can be pesky irritations against someone, or these can be deep-seated and bring much heartache. And I know that they're not easy to let go of. But beginning with awareness, we can slowly work at it and start healing ourselves. And so, where do we begin in letting go of these unresolved and festering resentments? Here's a process I want to share with you that you can follow if you choose to do so. All right, so if you're able to do so, find a quiet place and bring out your journal and a pen, and we can begin. All right, so the first thing is to make a list of people you resent and the reasons you resent them. And from the list, choose one with the strongest pull or where you feel the most affected. An example of that would be like John, I resent him for leaving me without saying goodbye. Or I resent my friend Mary because I heard she talked about me behind my back. Or my colleague Sam because my boss favored him more than me. And so just list down as many as you can. But it doesn't even have to be a lot of people. It can just be a few, depending on the energy that you're feeling within you and what kind of resentments are coming up as you go through this process. Once you're done with that, we go through the second step, which is to notice where the pain or the anger and the hurt reside in your body. So a lot of us go through our lives living in just our headspace. And we tend to forget the wisdom that lies in our bodies if we only listen. And so take this time to do that. And once you've identified which part of your body where you're feeling the most of that pain or that anger reside in, then moving on to step 3, where you ask yourself, what role did I play in this? How did I show up in the situation? Who was I in it? And what was my part in the story? So recognizing your role in this can empower you and help you move forward. Instead of feeling helpless, you can take responsibility for your part of the story and make the necessary changes to move forward. Looking inward can bring a new perspective and allow you to heal from past hurts. As in my case, I placed my old lover on a pedestal and just thought greatly of him. I loved him so much, but in the process of constantly giving, I didn't realize I was abandoning myself. And that was the part I played. I forgot to take care and love myself first. And so moving on to step 4. Now ask yourself, what is this resentment costing me? Is it costing you to play small? Is it costing you to not believe in yourself, not seen? Is it costing you your relationships with the people who matter to you, like your family, your friends? Is this stopping you from being happy and making you miss life? So when we hold on to unresolved resentments, these can limit us and make us withdraw from fully engaging in life. So after listing down what resentments are costing you, now, what amends can you now start to make to yourself that will help you restore your power? What actions and choices are you now willing to make in order to move forward? And so just looking in, ask, where am I lacking? What areas do I need to improve on? And so if, for example, you have a hard time speaking up, you have a hard time telling your truth, perhaps the amends that you can make to yourself now is to speak up more, is to no longer hold yourself back from speaking and being honest with yourself. Or maybe it's about setting boundaries or learning how to say no. And also look out for who can help you with this. And it's also important to know that you're not doing this alone, in that you can reach out to others to help you as you slowly help yourself, heal yourself, and reclaim back the power that you gave away. And now, moving on to step 6, what commitment are you now going to make to yourself? And so examples of this could be, I commit to honoring my own needs before the needs of others. Or I commit to listening to my own wisdom and listening to my own intuition. So for myself, what I did was I made a commitment to love myself first and not to seek out love and validation from people who don't deserve it. And lastly, surrendering to release the past. And so what am I now willing to let go of with this person and with this situation? The point here is not exactly to get an apology from the one who wronged you, but you want to do this for yourself, for your own peace of mind. But if you'd like to, you may also communicate with the person directly, either through spoken or written way, if you still have contact with that person and if you want to. But if it's no longer possible, or if you'd rather not, then you may do what I call a soul-to-soul meditation. And this is where you call in the person during your meditation and speak with that person, soul to soul, like just bearing yourself out and allowing yourself to just free you from the bondage of the past. So this is what I did to free myself. I called in my former lover into a soul-to-soul meditation, and I visualized conversing with him, telling him everything I wanted to say, and releasing us both free from the promise that we made. And in the end, I wished him well. After that, it was as if a veil has been lifted from me. All those years of sadness and hurt were released. For the first time, after a long time, I slept peacefully that night. Okay, so here's a short recap of the process. So first is to make a list of the people you resent and the reasons you resent them. Second is to notice in your body where the pain, the anger resides. And ask yourself, what was my part in this story? And then fourth is, what is this resentment costing me? And then you go on to step 5, which is, now that you know what this is costing you, what amends are you now willing to make to help you restore your power? And what commitment are you now going to make to yourself? And lastly, what are you now willing to surrender and let go of with this person or the situation you're in? And so, my dear friends, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for listening. If you want to get the latest updates on the podcast and more, subscribe to my Substack newsletter. It's www.bigimpactwomen.substack.com. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for listening. You can read and download a full transcript at bigimpactwomen.com/the Imaginal Life. If you like this episode and want to hear more, hit the subscribe button in your favorite podcast app. If you feel moved and inspired, head to iTunes and leave us a review. I love hearing your feedback on how we can continue to grow and evolve the program. I believe when women come together, we can co-create humanity's new story and contribute